Because you've clicked on this video, I know that you're somebody who wants to make a lot of money. And you've tried a lot of things to do so, but you keep running into the same issue. You lack discipline. You've read all the books, you've watched all the videos, but when it comes time to actually sitting down and doing the work, there's something inside of you that keeps you paralyzed. And you know that if you do not get rid of this thing, you will be broke for the rest of your life. I'm here to tell you that you're not alone, because this is the very first obstacle all of us have to overcome before we can actually start making money. So I'm going to share the exact framework that I've used to unlock my discipline so that you can do the same for yourself. The way this video is going to break down is that first, we'll go over theory and I'll show you exactly why everything that you've tried has failed. It's because you're approaching the problem of discipline from the wrong angle. Then I'll show you the correct way to approach this problem. And lastly, I'll give you actionable steps to take away from this video so that you can lock the fuck in. To understand why nothing that you've tried has worked, you need to understand this right here. I call it the behavioral change hierarchy. This outlines the factors that actually have an effect on your behavior and ranks them in descending order. What you'll notice is that actions is all the way down here, and they only account for 10% of the equation. Your problem is that you've been looking for the latest hack or cheat code, aka action, that's going to unlock your discipline. But what you're doing is you're only focusing on the 10% of the equation and ignoring the 90% of what it takes to actually become disciplined. And before we move on, let's break down each of these steps so that you understand them at a deeper level. Starting off with the relationship between your identity and your beliefs. How you see yourself, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm healthy, I'm somebody who follows through, immediately shapes what you believe is possible or acceptable. If you identify as not a morning person, you will believe you can't wake up early, so you don't even try. Your beliefs then trickle onto your inner monologue. Beliefs generate self-talk. I can't do this. I can't wake up early. Blah, 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 blah. Your inner monologue then spawns emotion, frustration, doubt, or any type of emotion that further entrenches you in that belief. Those new emotions then affect your actions because subconsciously you act in ways that confirm your beliefs and your emotions. If you feel unworthy, you will procrastinate or underprepare. If you feel capable, you will show up. This is all subconscious. Your actions then form your habits. Repeating those identity-driven actions or inactions daily cements habits, good or bad, over weeks and months. And your habits shape your reality. Your reality is a result of your combined habits. So when you understand this, you'll understand that in order to change your reality, in order to become more disciplined, you have to first start with your identity. Who do you identify as? You need to look at where you're currently at and visualize where you want to be. But this can't be basic visualization. You need to visualize this to the point where it brings some type of emotionality out of you. This is the most important step. If your dreams and aspirations do not bring out some type of emotionality out of you, they are not big enough. And they will not have the emotional pull required for you to actually become disciplined. This is what you've been missing, which is why you've never been able to stick to one thing or be disciplined towards one thing for an extended period of time. But when you identify where you are and compare it to where you want to be, you'll notice that there's a massive gap between the 2 points. This gap is called cognitive dissonance. And this cognitive dissonance is the subconscious cause of your undisciplined actions. Deep down, you just don't truly believe that you can cross this gap. So anytime you try to do so, you self-sabotage. So how do you get rid of cognitive dissonance? Absolute fucking delusion. You get rid of this gap by convincing yourself that it doesn't exist to begin with. Mentally, you have to adopt the identity of the type of person that gets whatever you want out of life. Take me, for example. In my head, I literally believe I'm a billionaire. You could not convince me otherwise. That's why I title my videos the way I title them. But it gets so much deeper than that. Right now, I drive a shitty 2018 Toyota. but you could not convince me that it's not a Bugatti. In fact, I have my next 3 car purchases lined up. I'm not joking about this. And these are not cars that I'm hoping to get. These are cars that I've already bought mentally. I'm just waiting for the wire to hit my bank account so that I can complete the transaction. But it gets even deeper than that, because I even have a CRM for the bitches I want to fuck once I'm rich. And it's not because I can't have them right now. It's just they're not a priority for me because I'm focused on getting my bag. But mentally, I've already fucked them. It's just my dick is so fucking massive that it bends the reality space-time continuum. So when I fuck a bitch, it takes 2 years for her to feel the effects. And me being the courteous gentleman I am, I like to keep track of them so I can give them aftercare. You have to become absolutely delusional. And once you've reached that state of absolute delusion, you have to guard it with your life. This is where the battle of discipline actually takes place. And to explain why, I have to teach you my reality bending equation. It has 3 parts: the thesis, antithesis, and the synthesis. This is the relationship between these 3 points. Your thesis is your starting point of matter or reality or whatever it is. Your thesis then runs into its antithesis, which is an opposing or contradicting force. Because these are opposing forces, there's a battle that happens. And then the result of that battle is the synthesis, aka the new state of matter or the new start or whatever you want to call it. Let's use water to better understand this. So water is your thesis. And then when you introduce an antithesis of a warmer environment, it's going to produce gas if the warmer environment is hot enough, aka if the antithesis is stronger than the thesis. But what happens when the antithesis is weaker than the thesis? Well, in this example, water does not turn into gas. It just becomes lukewarm. Let's bring this equation back to you. We know where you are. This is your thesis. We know where you want to be. This is your synthesis. So what does that leave in this equation? It leaves the antithesis, the opposing force to your current thesis. And this right here is where your new formed identity needs to go. It's the opposing force for whatever your current state of reality is. And for true change to happen, it needs to be stronger than the current state of reality itself, or you'll just end up with lukewarm water. And that's why delusion is so important. But there's a secret component that I purposely left out of this equation. And honestly, it's the most important part. When a thesis and antithesis come together, there's always a gap in time before a new synthesis is created. And the greater the transformation, the greater amount of time is required for the new synthesis to emerge. You can speed up the time by adjusting the delta between these 2 points. Going back to the water example, if the room is warmer or if the starting temperature of the water is higher, it's going to take less time for it to turn into gas. But you can never skip the time requirement. Discipline is not about doing a whole bunch of stupid shit all day. Discipline is about selecting a new identity for yourself and then maintaining that identity with pure delusion until reality catches up. Because when you go back to the behavioral change hierarchy and you truly understand the relationship between each of these steps, you'll understand that the only thing that you need to change in order to change your reality is to change your identity. Because once your identity changes, your belief systems are going to change, and then your inner monologues are going to change, which means the type of emotions that you feel towards certain tasks or activities are going to change, and then you'll start taking on new actions and actually being able to hold on to these actions. Those are just going to form your habits, and then out of your new habits, reality is going to change. It all starts with the identity. Now that you understand how to actually become disciplined, this is what you're going to do. You're going to sit down and visualize what the fuck you want. You have to know what you want, and you have to visualize it to a degree to where it brings emotionality out of you. After you know exactly what you want, you have to think about who is the type of person that will obtain that. The next step that you're going to take is that you're going to decide not to become that person. You're going to decide that you are already that person. And lastly, you're going to maintain that new identity through absolute delusion, no matter what happens. Because in order for the change to actually happen, the antithesis has to be stronger than the thesis. This was episode 4 of Solo Leveling IRL, a daily series where I document my journey as an online entrepreneur. The goal of this series is not to seduce you with a lifestyle. It's to be fully transparent about the journey by documenting it in the form of vlogs, interviews, and sit-down videos just like this one. I want to help you overcome the same issues that I have to overcome at each step of the way. Because at the end of the day, there's no such thing as a business model that doesn't work. There are only businessmen that don't know how to make the model work. If you want to follow me on this journey, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell notification so when I post tomorrow, you will be alerted. But when you